Yo, what up, everybody? What's good? What's good out there? Happy holidays to everybody. Get my shit together. What's up, everybody? Happy holidays to everybody out there. Um, it's cold. We all ready to turn up. If you know what it is, tonight is Wednesday. We have the Boys Club. It's Rich Dollars. It's Sean Prez. We have a special guest tonight, Dr. Ish from Marriage Boot Camp. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him, but we have Dr. Ish coming on tonight. But it's going to be a good time. So lock in. Let's have a good conversation. Let me get my guy Prez in the room. There you go. Yo, you cold, my guy?
What happened?
You cold?
Yo, I'm always cold.
Yo, this nigga got the Scully on. Let me find out.
What
I
happened?
said, you got the Scully on. Let me find out. What's good, bro?
Let me get my glasses. Let me get my specs in order.
All right.
Rich, what up, kid?
Ain't nothing, man. Same old, same old.
Yo, your lighting is impeccable tonight. Finally, we got good light. What's
Yo,
going on over there?
I just copped this from Walmart today, literally.
Oh.
And they got all kinds of bells and whistles. This shit goes red. This shit goes circular. This shit is insane.
Nah, it make it. You see, I noticed.
Facts.
Yeah, you see, I noticed your lighting is impeccable. All right,
I got that good.
here we go. Okay, did you do the Did you?
Yes, I did.
Did you do an intro?
Yes.
Okay. What up, everybody? While Rich getting himself together, Sean Prez, Rich Dollars, we are the Boys Club Wednesday night. Yo, Rich, I think this is is this the last Wednesday of 2022?
This is the last Wednesday of 2022, my friend.
Okay. Yo, y'all been rocking with us for a straight year. For everybody who been rocking with us for like literally since we bought in 2022, we going out the same way we came in. A lot of fun, a lot of insight. Rich Dollar, Sean Prez, we are the Boys Club. This is real in-depth relationship discussions coming from the mind of men. It's very mature. It's very in-depth. It's very unfiltered. And this is what we do. So if you've been rocking with us, thank you so much. We're going to keep doing what we're doing every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 Pacific Time. And that's that. Okay, Richie D, before we even get started, everybody, we have, and I guess you can introduce him. We're going to do things a little bit differently tonight at 8 p.m. Who we got coming in, Rich?
We have my guy, Dr. Ish, coming in from Marriage Boot Camp. I don't know if you guys have seen Dr. Ish from Marriage Boot Camp on WeTV. He's a good friend of mine, so he's going to come in. Sydney Starr, actually, we had a conversation with Sydney last week. I'm trying to get Sydney in. I don't know if that's possible. She's actually traveling today. But Sydney came on last week and basically said that she felt that as a heterosexual man, you could be involved or be attracted to trans women, and it doesn't make you gay. So the conversation went crazy last week. I got a lot of comments afterwards. After we logged off and I went back and saw the comments that you guys saw, that you guys left, I said, oh, wow, this is crazy. So I had to bring in somebody with some real life clinical, like obviously Dr. Ish. So we're bringing in a doctor to explain what it is, because in 2022, things are so confusing, right? Everybody, it's weird. It's a different day than what a lot of people are used to and a lot of people who are older are used to. But it is a new day, and I wanted Dr. Ish to come in and kind of just shed some light on everything for us.
Okay, so make sure y'all stick around and tell your friends, number one, that we're on, but number two, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Dr. Ish will be joining our live, and we're going to be having a discussion. I mean, I have my thoughts. Rich has his thoughts. So I would love to hear what a doctor especially in this new world that we're living in, has to really say about this subject matter. So let everybody know we're going to be discussing if, you know, if a heterosexual man is attracted, because it's one thing, Rich, we discussed this nuance last week. It's one thing to be attracted to a trans woman. It's a whole other thing to cross that boundary. Once you have been told I'm trans, and you still make a conscious decision to move forward, are you still heterosexual?
Correct.
You know, that is the question. Okay, so we got a few minutes to talk. I'm gonna throw some things at you, okay?
Okay.
Couple of things came out this week that I wanted to discuss with you. Matter of fact, you forwarded me a couple of things over the last week or so. Number one, there was a woman who went out to dinner with a guy, and we could have discussed this on the show. I don't remember, but it leads into what happened this week. She went out on a first date. This wasn't even like they've been rocking for a long time. She went out on a first date with a guy. And before they left the restaurant, she wanted to order food for her kids. And she expected him to pay. He did what everybody in 2022 does. He filmed it. He put it up online. A lot of people had comments whether he was in his right for being like, screw you, I'm not paying, or she was in her right for being like, yo, you taking me out. You need to understand that I'm a package deal. I come with my kids. Then you forwarded me something this week that I'm like, yo, we gotta talk about this. A man is dating a woman. They live together, like literally live together. Their family, and she threw away every stitch of clothes that he had and kicked him out of their house because he refused to adopt her kids. They're not married. It was never said how long they were together, but she stood firm on, we're a package deal. You're not adopting my kids. You got to get the hell out of here. What's your thoughts?
On the first one, I think Shorty was absolutely dead wrong. You're on a date. He is trying to get to know you. Not even that, it's a first date. It's a first date. He's trying to get to know you. That goes back to my thing that I speak about weekly, and it's this fucking entitlement thing. You're not entitled to anything. That man don't owe you anything. You're on a first date to get to know one another, to even decide if you want to even keep this relationship or even build on this date. This could go horribly wrong, and you guys could never speak again. Now, with that being said, why do I need to take you out on a date, but yet I gotta feed your children who are at home? Like, how does that become my responsibility for me to meet you, introduce myself, we have a conversation, we exchange numbers, we end up hitting it off on the phone or text message, whatever, and now we're on a date. How does that become my responsibility that I need to feed your children who are at home, who I don't know? That is absolutely disrespectful. It is so fucking disrespectful, and the level of entitlement is bordering on insanity these days, bro, because people really, in their heart of hearts, feel like they are entitled to that. You are out with me. So because you are out with me, whatever time that you're taking from me, you must now take care of that time, whether it's my time with work, whether you have to pay me for the hours I missed, whether it's my children are at, no, I'm dead serious. These women, this is real. You with me, and I didn't cook for my children, so you have to buy me food to take home to my kids. Like, if that's the case, like, I would even have understood a little bit more if she was like, yo, I wasn't able to feed my kids today, so can we run by McDonald's on the way home? Let me grab 2 Happy Meals. And then if the nigga is a gentleman, he's going to be like, say less, I got you. You know what I mean? But that puts the ball in his court. The entitlement of her sitting at that table irks the fuck out of me. That she's sitting in, and she's actually berating this man because he like, yo, hold on, how's that on me? Then she's like, what you mean, how's it on you? What you mean, how's it on you? Like, yo, come on, love. Like, that's insanity. So that's the first one. The second one, if you're going to marry someone, you have to take the children into consideration. You're building a life with this woman. You've gotten to the point where you guys have gotten to the point that you're ready to walk down the aisle. I think that if a man is prepared to marry a woman, he should adopt the children. Now, with that being said, it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope because of how relationships are going these days. If you Google and you do any kind of math and you do diligence on relationships and marriage, chances are you're probably going to get divorced because that's what the numbers would tell you. Now, here's the caveat. Or no, not even the caveat, but here's the trick to this. You marry this woman, you get divorced, you are now responsible for children that aren't yours, biologically yours. You are now, because you adopted them, you are now responsible for the children that she has. And the father, once you adopt a child, the father is now no longer responsible. So if you marry a woman and you adopt her children, the biological father is no longer responsible. He's off the hook, child support, everything. He's no longer in the picture. He can give what he gives, he can do what he does. But if you go down that road and you actually adopt that child or them children, then you are now responsible moving forward. I can't get mad at a man. I can't get mad at a man who says, I love you today and I will do anything for you today, but I also must look out for my future. I also it's almost like an NDA. Me and you are cool, we having a conversation, we kicking it, but you got to sign this NDA because honestly, I don't know how this ends. I can't foresee how this ends. So I need to protect myself from keeping you from going and talking about this relationship moving forward. I don't know how this ends. So before I sign off on for taking care of your children for the rest of my foreseeable future, letting your baby daddy off the hook, I think I got to assess that. I got to assess that. Now, me as a man, if I'm willing to go as far as marriage, I'm going to have to really think about adopting those children because it just makes sense to me. But for someone who actually gave that some thought and came up with, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to do that, love. I can't be mad at him. And if that woman don't understand that, then I guess that's a what you call them, deal breaker. I guess that's a deal breaker, and I understand that too.
So for clarity, because you started off by saying if a man, hear me out, Rich, because I'm about to comment and I want to make sure I got my facts right. You said if a man goes so far as to put a ring on a woman's finger and ask for her hand in marriage, he should adopt her kids. Did I get that correct?
Me, yes.
What is me? Why do you keep saying me?
I would.
You would do that?
Yes. And then I said, if a man didn't, understanding the due diligence and everything that he did going into this marriage, that half of these shits don't work, 78% of them don't work, you have to protect yourself under these circumstances. Like everything is blissful when you're meeting somebody and you're in love and y'all are hanging out and everything is so peaceful. 10 years, 66 years from now, this baby daddy is long gone. You are solely responsible for these children that aren't even yours if in fact y'all break up. Do I take that chance? I probably do. If I went as far as, that's probably why I'm not married today, because the criteria for which I want to get married, I would have to be head over heels and do anything. But I cannot be angry with someone who said, I'm sorry, I have to protect myself. I don't know where we're going to be in 10 years. God willing, we're still together. But if we're not, I can't be responsible for those children. While we're together, it's all good. What's mine is mine. What's yours is we sharing. We sharing. But once it goes left, I cannot be responsible for some kids that aren't mine. And that would be above and beyond for you to even ask that. So I understand both. My point is, I understand both sides.
Okay. You know, we raise these topics. I mean, there's a video that literally has gone viral. You sent it to me. It has hundreds of thousands of views. This woman is literally kicking this man out of their dwelling, where I'm sure he pays half the rent, she pay half the rent, or maybe he pay all of it. Who knows? But the bottom line, he's being asked to leave because you're laying up with me every night. You knew I had these kids, and you refused to adopt my children. You got to go. Okay, here's my thoughts on it. Taking into consideration everything you said. I'm going to go back to the first scenario. A few weeks ago, a woman goes out on a first date with a guy. They have whatever they have at dinner. On the way out, when the check is about to come, she decides she needs to order for her children. And that's where the date went left. Because homeboy's like, yo, you got to be crazy. I'm not paying for all your kids. And she has something like a few kids, from what I understand. It wasn't a child. Rich, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that, you know, and again, man, dating in 2022, dating in 2023, we live in a world that's controlled by social media. We live in a world that's controlled by reality television, sensationalism, tabloids. But this is real life. And you are not entitled to anything besides what you earn. And earning something, how do you earn things? You work for it. That's how you earn it. And you earn it with time in. That you want to get a check? Put time in at your jobs or what have you, your place of employment, and you get paid for time served. Why would anybody on planet Earth think that it is okay, think that it is the right thing to do, think that it is anything less than absolute insanity to think because you took me out and we are getting to know each other on a first date, I'm entitled to have you pay for my kids' dinner? I just think I almost, when I saw the video, I almost couldn't believe that, like, this is happening, because it's so asinine and backwards and unreal. I actually thought it was a joke, that this is the way people are thinking. So I'm all for dating and courting and getting to know somebody, but my God, like a first date, you gotta pull me into your work like that deep into that'll make me, number one, I don't want another date with you, but number two, we just getting to know each other. That's like going on a first date and telling me pick a bill, like literally pick a bill. Like, what are you talking about? I don't even know if I want to see you tomorrow. Like, just because we laughed and we had dinner tonight, I'm still trying to get to know you. You telling me take care of your children? This might have been this man's first time meeting her. Maybe they met online. And the first time he saw her in her physical form was on that date. And you telling me I gotta pay for your children because you were out with me tonight? Screw you. And to me, this man is better than Sean. And this is any woman out there, I know some women, you know, maybe they do, maybe this entitled spirit, maybe you don't look at it as entitled. Maybe you look at it as that's what this dude is supposed to do. Me and my kids come in a package deal. He take me out, he's taking them out. Good luck with that. Good, if you find somebody to do that, the number one, I would say wife that nigga ASAP, straight up, because he's clearly the chick in that relationship. He's desperate for a woman, because there ain't no way in the world. Like soon as she would have said some craziness like that, and I would have figured out like this is real, I would have got up and she would have paid for both our meals, because I'd have been like, I'm going to the bathroom, and just never came back. I'd have been wait here, like straight up, wait here, I'll be right back. She'd have seen my car pulling off, and that waiter would have came and hit her with the bill. So that's number one. But in that second scenario, where that woman literally was going to the closet and throwing this man's stuff out, yo, Rich, if it's Sean, and I'm gonna choose my words as carefully as possible because I don't want nobody hating me. I understand if you get to the point where you're putting a ring on a woman's finger, God willing, you've done the due diligence. You have vetted. You said she's for me. You understand that she has children, and I am responsible. Like once we move into this house, I'm responsible to keep the lights on. I'm responsible to make sure the rent is paid, to do my part to be a provider, to do my part to be the best male role model in these children's life. But I think it's a lot to ask to expect that because I marry you, I legally have to adopt your children. And I say this, number one, where's their father? Like, truth be told, you know, many people have relationships and kids out of wedlock. As a man, I'd be offended if another man married my ex and think that and my ex is requiring him to adopt my child. I'll be like, nigga, is you crazy? Just because I'm not with you no more, don't mean that I divorce my kid. Like this is still my like I'd be offended as a man on the outside thinking that now you in cahoots with your new man to adopt a child, to my child, just because me and you ain't together. So that's number one. But let's say the kid's father ain't there. Let's say he's not there. So we don't have the issue of that outside parent now being a factor. But adopting a kid is not like going to the store and buying something and then saying, yo, you know what? Because I bought this, I gotta, you know, buy this to go with it, and like buying a dog. And I don't want to disrespect them, but the bottom line is, you gotta fall in love with them kids. You have to. That's not just a financial decision. Correct. It's not just a decision that any man should be held. This is no reflection. If I was that dude, I would have a grown man talk with that woman. This is not a reflection on my love for you or even my love for those kids. I do love them. But I don't know that I'm ready to legally become their parent. I got to do that on my time. I got to do that the same way I had to take time to learn you to see if I wanted to go this. We just introduced each other to our kids. Who knows what it is? So I don't think just because you marry the mother, you should automatically be required to adopt her kids. I think that comes with time. And I think that if you're going to be a good stepfather to those kids, that's something you got to want to do from your heart. To have somebody tell you, you got to adopt my kids and get the hell out of here, what kind of father do you think I'm going to be? Forced like with a gun to my head to adopt some kids? I'm never, like, is that, do you even want me to be your husband at gunpoint, let alone a father to your children at gunpoint? It ain't gonna work. So that's just my thoughts on it. If you love the kids, consider adopting them. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't have a gun to my head. I don't see taking care of the kids is very different from legally making them mine.
And therein lies my point as well as yours. It's one thing for a man to come into your life and accept your children as his. It's one thing for him to say, those kids get anything I got. And who's to say that even if y'all break up, he hasn't gotten so emotionally attached to them kids that he gonna be doing for those kids, even if y'all do break up, because that's a real thing too, right? Like, I've been around these kids for the last 10 years, so, and their father ain't really been around, so I am their father. I have been acting as their father. And who's to say that relationship won't build and continue without y'all two being together, even if you do get divorced? But to put that man, like you said, to put that man under pressure, bro, you can't put that man under pressure. You can't put that man under pressure to take care of your kids when the reality is they aren't his. They aren't his biological kids. And he can't be held responsible. It's just not fair. It's not fair. And I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, but why would you even want that? I mean, and Rich, you can, we just pulled up on the 8 o'clock hour. This thing always goes so fast. You can reach out to Dr. Ish.
He's in the
room.
I just saw him.
Oh, he's in the room? Okay. I'll make this last point.
Hit the Ish. Hit the plus button at the bottom and the inside that video camera so we can get you on. Yeah,
I'll make this last point before we switch topics. I think that you would. It's more than money. It's more than a piece of paper. You would want somebody to father your kids because they love your children. I just don't think I don't think it's right. I think it's an entitled spirit. And I think if that's the way you go into a situation, man, you're going into it so wrong. Thinking that I mean, yes, Rich, we get it. Woman has children, she meet a man, they are a package deal. Indeed. I mean, there's nothing wrong about that. Like, that's a reality. You have dated women with children. I've dated women with children. Fair enough. But if you now telling me I gotta legally claim these kids because I'm dating you or married you, I think you're off. But all right, let's switch topics and get to Dr. Ish.
Okay. Dr. Ish, where you at, bro? Hit me on hit the plus button at the bottom. And let me see if he's in. Okay. Ish is in the room. I just saw him. He just said Dr. Ish has joined the chat, but I don't see him in the room, in the bottom.
Okay.
Dr. Ish.
Want to move on until he's ready?
Yeah, we can move on until he's ready. When you're ready, Ish, just hit me in the comments and let me know.
Okay. It is a very festive season that we're in. A lot of people are having get-togethers. A lot of people.
He's here.
He's here? Okay.
Yeah. There he is.
Yo.
What's up, Pop?
What's up, brother?
Ain't nothing. It's my man, Dr. Ish. This is my man, Sean Prez, my mentor.
Sean, how you doing, man?
Dr. Ish, what up?
What up? What up? Very interesting discussion y'all were having, man.
Yeah.
Nah, if you like that, I think you'll like this show week over week, man. We get into a lot of good stuff.
Good. No, it's good. It's good. And you need to talk about it because this was happening, you know?
Absolutely.
Truth.
Yep.
All right. So, Doc, we had Sydney Starr on last week.
Oh, Sydney.
Yes. And Sydney, and we were basically having the conversation that if a man is attracted to a trans woman, then in our society, in our male society, we would consider him gay.
Mm-hmm.
She was very, very adamant about that not being the truth.
Yeah.
She said that it is absolutely not gay for you to fall for a trans woman. You are still considered, in her eyes or in the trans community's eyes, you're still considered heterosexual.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't understand how that's possible.
Can I say one thing? Can I add one thing to that, Dr. Ish, real quick? Because there's a nuance here that I want to make sure you understand everything. Rich used the word, and matter of fact, the Sydney Star used the word attracted to a trans woman. I think a heterosexual male, like some of these trans women look good. Let's just call it what it is. You don't know the difference.
Right.
Sydney Star, by all accounts, is an attractive woman. Anybody can admit that. But the nuance is once you know that they are trans, if you cross that line, are you gay? Or is there a new letter that needs to be applied to you? Maybe LGBTQ don't cover the gamut. Is there a new letter? But Rich and I are just saying, you just ain't H no more. You know, no longer just heterosexual once you know.
Yeah.
But you can take it from here.
It's interesting, man. It's very confusing. I'll tell you that for sure. Because there's so many letters, and there's so many different places people fall on the spectrum, and that doesn't always line up with who you really are, right? There's some folks who identify as heterosexual, but they're not really attracted to the opposite sex. They're attracted to the same sex, but because of their culture, because of where they live, family, friends, job, right? They're choosing to live this life. So, you know, to your point, Sydney is correct, right? And here's what we're talking about. So it's the difference between, so we're talking about sexual attraction, sexual orientation, and sexual identity, right? So if you're attracted to the same sex, right? So the question is, how do I know if I'm gay? That's the question, right? Is this gay or not? And so there's some questions that you can ask and answer yourself and be honest about it, and that'll tell you, right? Have you ever been sexually attracted to the same sex? Have you, and I'm not asking you guys, but do you feel like there's a strong emotional bond with somebody of the same sex outside of frat? Right? Do you feel like you're physically attracted to the same sex? If I showed you 50 pictures of 25 women who we all accept as being attractive in this culture and 25 men, right? Which set of pictures turns you on more? Right? That's a clue. That's an indicator. Have you ever considered having a sexual relationship with somebody of the same sex? Right? That's how you know. Have I ever had a same-sex experience? Right? If you can go down that list and your answer is no to every single one of those things, well, then you're not gay. Right? You're not. And so what the interesting thing is, like Sydney, if you talk to Sydney, folks in LGBTQ culture, you talk to heterosexual men who identify, right, as I'm a male, I'm attracted to women, I am therefore heterosexual, right? You talk to men who consider themselves heterosexual and they're also attracted to transgender women, they'll say, yeah, no, I'm not gay at all, because the thing that I'm attracted to about them is their femininity. In some cases, like Sydney Starr with her hyper femininity, right? There's no question. Like you said, Doc, right? If you see Sydney, like, oh, she just super fine, and that's just what it is, you know? So that's what they'll say. And you can ask those same men and they'll say, listen, have you ever been attracted to a man? They're like, no, not ever. Have you ever had sex with a guy? No, not ever. Not into it at all. I like the femininity. I like the hyper femininity. That's the thing about it. And so the thing that gets confusing then is sexual behavior, right? And what is the behavior that constitute a homosexual act or a lesbian act, right? Because some transgendered people, they're on the spectrum, right? What's the genitalia? Is it a vagina? Is it a penis, right? And that's kind of where the rubber meets the road, right? So it's interesting. So heterosexual men who are attracted to transgendered females will also say, I could care less what's down there, right? It's a way to help them feel good, right? And that is not their concern, right? I see the look on your face with Richard's like, hey, this is a trip, but that's what they'll say. So is it the act then of being penetrated? Like, so what's the thing that makes you gay, right? Is it the act of being penetrated by another man's penis? Is that it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if that's the thing, right? Okay, so if that's the thing, then and you're having sex with a transgendered person who doesn't identify as a male, then how can you be gay? Because the person who you're having sex with, that's not how they identify. They don't identify as a male, right? And that's just where it is for them. So here's a scenario. Guys, for the guys out there, have you ever been with your lady and you engaged in some anal play? That is, she touched your anus while y'all were having sex. I see you laughing down there, right? 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 Most guys will be like, yeah, of course, it happens. Okay, have you ever been with a woman and there was analingus, right? She's eating the groceries, right? That's what she's doing, right? And it felt good. Does that make you gay? Because that's right. That's anal play, right? Most people will say, no, of course, it doesn't make you gay. It's a place on your body that feels good and your partner's stimulating it, right? Okay, take it a step further now. Have you ever been with somebody and maybe she not only touched your anus, but right, she inserted a finger? Now what?
She gets the shit smacked out of her.
Right. But Rich, if she inserted a finger and it felt good, does that make you gay?
Are you asking?
I'm asking, what do you think?
If somebody inserted their finger in your ass and it felt gay.
No, it felt good.
And it felt good.
Right?
Does that make you gay? Doc, I'm gonna have to
No, it's not if somebody, if
you're
woman.
if you're a girl.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so here's this. Okay, so this is complicated. So now we're getting complicated, and,
right.
And I can appreciate that. Does it make you gay? If you like things in your ass, fingers and shit in your ass, then I'm gonna have to be. That's questionable, bro. That's questionable.
Right. It's tricky, right? It's tricky. It's tricky, Sean. What do you think?
No, I think again it's nuance.
Right.
I don't think your woman, and the underlying word is woman, touching your butt just because that is clearly where gay people have to go makes you gay. If it's a biological woman who does it, who's your woman, okay, fair enough. I think it gets muddy when somebody was born a biological man that even if they identify as a woman, doesn't. That to me is where it gets a little blurry.
It gets blurry, right? Because now there's also, right? So here's the other scenario, right? We've got to talk about pegging, right? Sexual behavior. Pegging.
You said pegging?
Pegging. P-E-G-G-I-N-G. So pegging is you are with your lady and from time to time, but not all the time, she enjoys being the more dominant in the relationship. She enjoys strapping on a fake penis and penetrating you. That's pegging.
Holy smokes.
Right? So now, right? So, and guys who are in a heterosexual relationship, but they enjoy that from time to time, will say, no, I'm not gay. My lady did it.
Yeah, this is getting a little
right.
Yeah,
right. So all that to say is, when we talk about LGBTQ, right? The Q is rising to the top now, because the queer used to be a big insult, and now it just means this thing is fluid, right? It means it's going to change.
Okay, thank you so much. What does the queer part mean?
Right. So,
because
so queer folks, a lot of LGBT people will also identify as queer. It just means that, you know what I like changes. Sometimes change from day to day, sometimes change from week to week, and they allow for the full spectrum. So look, sometimes I'm attracted more to the folks of opposite sex. Sometimes it's more the same sex. Just depends, right? Depends on what day of the week it is for me, kind of thing, right? So that's the queer part. It's fluid, right? And the behavior is fluid, because if you flip the script, right? We all know. Let's say you think of two of your best girlfriends, like friend girls, nobody ever has sex or whatever, right? Just think of that, and they're like, oh gosh, we went out one night and this place was so boring, and so me and my girl, we just got drunk and we just kind of fooled around on the dance floor, and then we went home and something happened. Are they lesbian?
See, now there's your double standard. Right? It goes back to that same thing. When two girls, when it's a guy and two girls, it's a threesome. When it's two dudes and a girl, it's a train.
Right.
It's the same concept. Two girls, they ain't gay. They just having fun.
They just having fun.
Two dudes,
and they could do it this Friday. They could go out and do it. They could do it 2 Fridays a month and have only ever dated dudes, and we will all say, no, of course, they're not lesbian, right? They're just girls. And you know why? Because, and it goes back to how we define who we are. Women have done a much better job of defining femininity than men have done at defining our masculinity, right? Especially black men. 75% of our households we're raised by single black females, right? Mm-hmm. And so we didn't have a man in the house to teach us and show us what that was about. And then we had to go out and get a role model. Maybe it was a good one, maybe not. But it's so hard for us to define it. And because it's so hard to define it, we constrict it. And we put it in this little tiny little box. And anything that steps outside of that, oh, you ain't no man, right? Because in my mind, it means this, this, and this. And it's very rigid. And so I think to help the first part of the conversation, we've got to do a better job as defining what it actually means to be a man. You know what I mean? Especially with all, toxic masculinity is under attack, narcissism, all right? And so a lot of these things have been typically associated with male behavior. And so a lot of guys are like, all right, well, how can I show up? How can I show up and actually be okay and be cool, but still be a man? And so we're struggling just figuring out what it means to be a man and defining our masculinity, our manhood. But women do a much better job of it. And so we accept that anything on that spectrum is okay. But with dudes, it's a double standard. It's a very tiny little box,
Okay, let me shoot this back at you. Because I'm listening to you, and you have actually made me think, really try to see where I stand with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand I'm on social media, so I'm gonna use very light-hearted words.
Somebody said they saw me on Pornhub. Wait. I got a lot of friends, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. I got a lot of friends in Rio, man. Every time I go down there, there's this Brazilian porn star. Dude looks like my twin brother. So I walk down the street, and folks are like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, that ain't me.
Yo, are you serious?
I'm serious.
Crazy.
Oh, shit.
That's the funniest thing. I'm sorry, man. I cut you off. What were you saying, man?
I think balls, if you have testicles hanging, if they are there, I don't care what this looks like.
Right.
I don't care if you got implants. If a man can be attracted to you because he don't know what's down there.
Right.
The moment he finds out that there is an extension, you cross a line. You know, in my opinion.
Right. So
you are undoubtedly no longer, I don't care if that person you're attracted to, in their mind, well,
yeah.
I just was born in the wrong body.
Yeah.
Well, the man, just hear me out. The man who's now attracted to you, he wasn't born in the wrong body, but he's touching balls.
Yeah.
How do you make sense of it? I don't understand.
So right. So that's a good question, right? And so if you ask men who identify as heterosexual, that means they're not into dudes, they're not attracted to guys, they don't want to have sex with guys, they're not into it, right? They're into women, they're into feminine energy. What those men will say is, okay, yeah, this person has genitalia that we typically associate with a male, right? They've got a penis, they've got testicles, right? And then the wording itself can get a little tricky, right? Because they may not call it that. Maybe they may not say, hey, they have a penis. They may say she has a big clitoris, right?
Huh?
Yeah, right. So, but what they'll say is the genitalia to me doesn't matter because what I'm attracted to most about them is their femininity, right? And that feminine energy. And so to those guys, they'll say, yeah, I could care less what they're carrying down there. It's a vagina, it's a penis. I don't care. I'll stimulate it if they want it stimulated because I'm into them and I want to make them feel good. But to me, the thing that's got me there is that I consider them a female and they identify more as, as a person with feminine energy. But I hear what you're saying. But that's where it gets tricky,
This is super tricky.
Yeah,
this is super tricky because
this is a slippery slope.
I have been, everybody knows that I manage Sydney, and that's my sister.
Right.
Not real life, but
yeah.
my sister.
Yeah.
Not Jules' daughter.
Yeah,
but my sister.
It's cool.
But I have been out places with men's men, like dudes who are the man's man, right? And Sydney has walked in and they not know who Sydney was. And she walk over to him and be like, hey, Richie, what's up? I'm at the table over there. You want some hookah? What we doing? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I'll be like, nah, I'm good. And she'll walk away. And niggas will be like, yo.
Right.
That motherfucker is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be like, yo, bro, you're a man's man. And it's probably going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, my dude. But she's absolutely trans.
Right.
Because niggas would literally be like, yo, call Shorty back over here. I want to holler. And yo, Ish, I swear to God, I have at times been like, yo, I should just do this joke. But I don't even want it to go that far.
Right,
I just be like, yo, nigga, this is going
to
hurt me.
Because you don't want to put her in danger because guys can react poorly and violently with any threat to their masculinity, right? So you never want to do that. But so what's the thing that they're attracted to about Sydney? Well, she looks like a girl, right? She's beautiful, right? She's got big boobs, she's got big butt, all of those things that we associate with an attractive woman. Sydney has those things, right? And biologically, she was born a male, so she still has a penis and she still has testicles. So, so half of those guys who are like, yo, Shorty is banging, once they find out she's trans, they're like, okay, I can't be into it. I don't know what that says about me. The other half is going to be like, Rich, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and call it back over here anyway? And let's just see. We're just going to see what happens.
Right.
Check this out. If you're on Pornhub is I think it's the number one porn site in the country, right? Pornhub. Transgendered sex rose by 75% in this last year. The searches on Pornhub, right?
Hold on.
Hold
on. Where do you get is this a real number,
It's a real number. Pornhub publishes their numbers every single year. And they got they look at those numbers every single day, every single week, right?
Okay, before you go forward, did they give the percentage of men to women who are watching or searching for?
It's there. Right. It's there. It is. It is. I don't have that breakdown in front of me, but they break it down. Who's straight women, straight men, right? They got the whole breakdown. The number 3 most watched type of porn on Pornhub is transgender sex. I don't know if y'all knew that.
I did not.
Right?
No.
So 75% growth, top 3 category on Pornhub, yet only 12% or less of us as Americans identify as LGBTQ.
You said, what's the percentage?
Somebody out here lying.
Right? Less than 12, Sean. So less than 12% of us in this country will identify as LGBTQ, but, right? 3rd most watched on Pornhub. So like you said, Rich, bro, somebody, right? Somebody ain't saying something, right? And so I think the answer is as we get more intelligent about what it means to be a woman, what it means to be feminine, what it means to be a man, and defining that, I think we're also going to be able. I think we're going to be more accepting of the fluidity. Like if we could jump in a time machine and be like 50 years from now, this would probably be a very different discussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like 50 years ago, it was a big deal if you saw interracial couple. Right? Yep. 50 years ago, it was a big deal if you were walking down the street and saw 2 dudes kissing. You'd be like, oh, right? But look at where we are now. Like you don't even realize it anymore. And so I think as we're young as a race of humans, and we're and our understanding of who we are and how we fit in with each other is always evolving. And so I think this is going to be one of those things. But we are it's been a traditional masculine patriarchal culture, and as that's changing, I think the definition is going to change, and I think it's going to be a little more fluid than a lot of us are comfortable with now. So it's but it's tricky, right? Because it's that same thing, right? So you take 2 guys, right? You go out with your boy, club ain't hopping, y'all get drunk, y'all fool around on the dance floor, you go home, have an experience, right? There's no heterosexual guy on the planet who's going to say you're not gay, right? But we don't allow that same grace to us as we do women, right? Women can do it; they do it every single week, and they're like, "Nah, it ain't lesbian," right? Yeah, right. And so because our definitions are so tight, and it's traditionally been so. So I think we've got to do as good a job or better as women are doing, as lesbians are doing, as transgendered people are doing, as queer folks are doing at defining what that masculinity looks like, right? People are telling us now what they don't want. We don't want narcissism. We don't want toxic masculinity. Okay, so now it's up to dudes like us to step up and say, okay, well, this is how we define masculinity and what manhood looks like. So these are the things that are acceptable to us. They're not hurting anybody else. They're not taking anything off anybody else's plate. But I don't think we're having enough of those types of conversations,
So,
well, go ahead, Rich. I'm sorry.
How long do you think it's going to be? Like, I know it's hard to put an actual number on it, but at the rate that things are moving now, and the way society is moving now, how quickly will just date who you want to date become a thing? Yeah. It just there is no letters anymore. You just are at peace and loving life and doing what the fuck you want to do, and you're enjoying it. When do we get to that point?
It's interesting, man. So I got a bunch of, I don't have any kids myself, but I got a bunch of nieces and nephews, and they're in like mid-20s, late 20s. And so one of my nieces, Mia, is in the city. She's an actress, and she married Patrick 2 years ago, right? Patrick's redhead, white dude, cool as shit. And so they knew they were probably going to get married when they were like in middle school. And so when I see her and Patrick and all their friends, it's so interesting because the way they relate is so different from when I was in middle school or when I was in high school. It's like, I hate folks who say I don't see color. Yeah, of course you do. You have to, and it's silly not to. But the way they relate to each other, it's like, it's so not even a thing, And so that's about a 20-year gap. And so I think in another generation or two, I don't think it'll be a thing. It'll always be a thing because we're always human, but it'll be a non-issue, right? It'll be like walking down the street in New York and seeing 2 dudes holding hands, or be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. And folks will just move on with it. But I think in order for it to happen, then guys like us also have to start having those conversations, right? We can't allow folks to define what the masculinity means for us. We We've got to figure out what it means to be a man. As Black men, a lot of us don't know because we just didn't have it. We didn't have the role model, right? We don't have a coming of age thing, right? We don't have bar mitzvahs, right? We don't have quinceañeras, right? Most of us don't have a sweet 16. It's like, okay, so how do you know, right? And we got to make up some stuff in our head to go figure out, okay, well, maybe if I can get a girl pregnant, that means I'm a man. Maybe if I can, right? Maybe if I can hold this peace, then that means I'm a man. So we got to figure out some things so that we're defining that, right? And then I think it gets easier. But it's an interesting conversation. You're gonna have, right? There's gonna be a lot of folks who don't agree, but that's, so you're talking about sexual orientation or attraction, right? What are you attracted to? That's what you're oriented to. And that's a born thing. That's not something folks choose. You're born liking what you like, and that can change over time, but that's a wired in thing versus sexual identity. And how does that match up with sexual behavior? When all of those three things are aligning, then folks are comfortable coming out and identifying as what they identify with.
Got you. I mean, like who you like, love who you love. That I don't think is an issue.
Right.
Rich, to your point, when do we see this happen? Or you asked a good doctor, when does he see it happen?
Yeah.
I mean, Will Smith's kids there's so many people who they're living. They don't identify as either.
Right.
I forget what they call themselves, but there's a younger generation right now, as we speak, that is pretty much like I'm whatever. I forget
human.
what they call it.
I'm human.
What'd you say?
I'm human.
Yeah, I'm just human.
Right?
That's it.
Right? So think about,
on
that's a great example. So think about what think about if Will and Jada's kids, if they get a little older, think about who their kids might be in terms of that. You know what I mean? And so I think we're a couple generations away from that. Yeah. Yeah. We usually see that shift every 20, 25 years or so, Yeah.
Wow.
But even though you might not identify as one or the other, I still think, there's labels for everything on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? What'd you say, Rich?
Non-binary.
Oh,
yeah.
There it is.
Right.
There it is. That's what they identify as, non-binary.
Non-binary, yeah. Yeah, right? So they're sexual orientation fluid, right? They're gender fluid, right? It changes. And some days they know, some days they don't. Most days, but most of those days they accept it for what it is, right? And this is where I am. So yeah.
Well, we're not at that day today, and I think that getting back to our original conversation, and I would love to hear the women when we let women into this conversation, because we're three men having this conversation.
Right.
But I would love to hear a woman right now, because a lot of women watch this show with their significant other. If they turn to the left and ask their husband, have you ever been with a trans woman? Even if they're on, in the chat talking about he ain't gay, this, that, and the third, I would love to hear what they would think if they asked their man right now, have you ever been with a trans woman? And he says, yes, but I love you. I would love to know what their thoughts on this would be. Would they be cool with it and say he's not gay? Or would they be like, hell no, you duped me. You should have told me this before we got married. We need to talk.
Right.
So it's just interesting conversation.
It is, and a lot of it hinges on how, if you were with a trans woman, right? How does she present? Does she present as a female? Does she present more masculine? Right? What was the behavior you engaged in? Right? Did she penetrate you, or did you penetrate her? Right? Those are important questions as well. And so it's important to be able to talk about it with no shame and no judgment, and allow folks to love who they love, and like who they like, and be with who they're going to be with, as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're being safe. And it's also important to understand some of those things are going to change, right? The kind of women I liked when I was 21, I'm not into it right now, right? It changes, right? Just right. And we would say back then, oh, I'm in my skinny girl phase. Oh, I'm in my thick girl, whatever that is. it changes, right? So we allow it to change on that one spectrum, and I think where we're headed is it's all going to be rolled into a much larger spectrum, and it's just going to be an acceptable thing that it's a fluid situation.
Okay, so to put a bow on this thing, where did we land? Is Sydney Starr accurate in her thinking when she made that viral statement that men who are attracted to her, they are not gay?
Correct. Sydney's correct, and we have to allow them to define it, right? Because they're the ones who are living it, and so we've got to take their lead. And so I have a couple in Atlanta who I've seen, and she's transgender, he's heterosexual, you know, brother and sister, and they do not consider themselves, right? He considers himself heterosexual, right? Because he married a trans woman. She identifies as a woman. She has feminine behavior. The things he loves and likes and loves about her are those feminine characteristics. And so I think we've got to take Sydney and folks in the community's lead when they say, yeah, if you're attracted to a trans woman, what are those things you like about her? And most of those guys will say, heterosexual or no, well, the things I'm attracted to is because of her femininity, right? And so, in a lot of instances, not a lot, but in some instances, even that hyper femininity, right? Ain't no Sydney's a girl's girl. She's a girly girl all the way, right? And so a lot of guys will say, well, that's the thing that does it for me. That's what I'm attracted to. And so in that sense, right, if we can tease out the sexual behavior and what they do and who's penetrating whom, then the thing is about the attraction. What's the thing that you're attracted to? If you're not attracted to a person of the same sex, then you're not gay, right? The thing I'm attracted to, even though their sexual organ may match mine, I'm not here for that. I'm here for the other thing, right? The opposite sex part, the feminine part, right? So Sydney's correct. That's where it is.
You know something, for anybody who's watching this, I just thought of this. For anybody who's watching this, if you're a male, if you are a man and you're heterosexual and you have been intimate with a transgender woman, I would love for you to call in and share your thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Like, what do you consider yourself?
Yep.
Because Dr. Ish, you said we need to take the lead from Sydney and people in that community, and you may be right, but I would love to. I mean, the lead has to come from both ways, right? Because there is a guy out there who considers himself 100% heterosexual,
right?
And he don't see nothing wrong with what he's doing, and he'll stand up in another man's face and say, "Yo, I am just as much heterosexual as you," because to your point, I don't see that woman as. I see her for everything she exudes.
Right.
She is a woman to me. So I would love, if there's a man out there who is been intimate or is currently intimate with a transgender woman, please, I'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah.
Them niggas ain't calling it.
Right? Because there's shame and there's stigma.
We're not there yet.
Right? We're not there yet. Right? We're not there. We're there privately on our computers at home and things we do in the dark, but we're not there publicly and out in the open yet. But but it's there, as with anything in town.
I'm gonna tell you something. I just saw an episode of House Hunters. Yeah. And there was a gentleman on there with I mean this, and I hate to say this. I mean they're a this is not a, it's not a diss, but his transgender woman was not attractive. Like, you clearly knew this was a dude with a bad weave, but he was just as happy. He was looking for his new house with his wife.
Right.
So Rich, you might be surprised. Some dudes might call in like, "Yo, you know what? I'm not ashamed of this. Right. This is who I am." Right. And I just happen to fall in love with a woman who biologically was born with him as a man.
And the opposite is also true, right? There are men who go from male to female or female to male. So so it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. That's a lot to grasp. But you know what? Last week when we had Sydney on, and I wish he could be here today, but last week when we had Sydney on, everybody was like, "Yo, you bugging. You just trying to recruit. You just trying to make niggas feel good.
Right.
You just trying to make niggas feel good about that shit. That shit, them niggas get. But now listening to you, obviously a heterosexual man, listening to you as a doctor who is, you know, clinically versed in all this stuff. This is the way it is, people. Right. This is what it is. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like Doc Ish ain't gonna tell you no bullshit. This is what it is, and this is where we're going.
Yep.
So I mean, I guess it's about time to start accepting people for what they do and stop making people feel guilty for who they are.
Yeah. And not only guilty, but ashamed, right? Right? Like Sean was saying, yeah, those guys ain't gonna call in. Well, the only reason they wouldn't is because they don't want to be ashamed by it. They don't want to read the mean comments, and they don't want to hear the jokes, right? So that's the thing, right? Everybody should be allowed to love who they love and not have to feel ashamed by it. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
100% agree.
Yep. Yeah. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But that also doesn't give you license to shame and berate and belittle somebody because it's not for you. So we got to get to that acceptance part. And the reason we're not quite there is because there's so many of us who don't really accept all of who we are, right? Not just when it comes to our sexuality, but in so many other parts of our life, you know? And so that's the hard part.
That's real.
Enough. There we go. Phone lines are open,
right,
y'all. If y'all trying to get in on this conversation, Dr. Ish, can you hang around for a little while?
Yeah, I can hang out for a little bit.
Okay, if you,
right,
yeah,
so
I'd love to have you stick around.
We got the comment section open, so we're gonna start taking some callers.
Oh, they going off in the comments.
Oh, our comment section.
I don't even read those
comment
comments.
section is brutal. Our
It's
comment
brutal,
section is
dude.
fucking brutal. Yo. There she is.
Hey there.
What's up, my man?
Hey,
How's it going? So I just wanted to weigh in on this conversation really quick from a female perspective. I did date a guy who claimed that he unknowingly was with a trans person. And I didn't leave. I didn't judge him because it was unknowingly. Now, had he said he knew that the woman was trans, then that might have changed my perspective, because at that point, to me as a woman, you know that that's a man and you're indulging with it, regardless of what they appear to look like. You know that's a man, and you are having a sexual experience with someone that you know is a man. So that to me would be a turnoff, and at that point, I'm in my head, you're gay.
okay, maybe I'm just not well versed in this area. How can you not know? Is surgery that good?
If they don't have, or if they have all of the female parts, how would you know? If they're like fully
If you have
done up, then how would you know?
I can't hold no dude liable if you messing with a girl with a girl and she got all the female parts.
Hold on.
And she tell you that.
That's what I'm
saying. Stop for a second. SB, did the man did they have an intimate relationship, or did they just kiss?
He didn't say that it was a relationship. He said it was an encounter, like it was a drunk night. He met her at the club.
Okay. Were they intimate? Were they intimate?
Yes, they were intimate.
So the pants came off.
Mm-hmm.
How could you not know then?
She said
because she had all the female parts.
So she'd had gender reassignment surgery. She no longer had a penis, but she had what would be a functioning vagina.
So
Okay.
That surgery is that good?
Yeah, it's great. It's
really
plastic surgeons are amazing
like
in what they can do. Yeah.
I don't know what it looks like, but I mean, I'm gonna assume that it looked like a vagina if he had sex with her and claimed that he didn't know that it was a dude, and then later on found out, through word of mouth, and it's like, oh, you didn't know that was a dude? That's a dude, and that sort of thing. But if he would have said he knew and still did it anyway, that would have changed it for me. Also, with the experimenting in the bedroom with your man, like salad tossing and all that. Okay, if you like to be penetrated, that's line crossing. Like
penetrated with what?
I feel like
penetrated with what?
I feel like if a finger goes in, you're penetrated, bro. Like that's too much for me.
That crosses the line for you.
That's where I draw the line. If you want to, test this and test that, let's see if I like this, let's see if I like that. Okay, cool, whatever. But once you start wanting to be penetrated, like you want something in there, now you sexually stimulated by being penetrated. That to me is gay.
And so to you so you don't consider that masculine, and that's not somebody you could be with after that.
No, if a dude, even if I'm a born woman, and I was in a bedroom with a man, if he wanted me to put on a strap on and penetrate him with a strap on, or even use a finger, to me, that's gay.
Right.
That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll toss that salad though.
I didn't say I would. I didn't say me. I didn't say me, but I wouldn't automatically say, oh, if you got your ass ate, now you're gay. No, I wouldn't take it that far. But penetration, that is where I consider it.
And it's interesting.
Gay.
I think a lot of women are going to have their own line, right? Some women are going to say the line for them is penetration. Some women are going to say the line for them is any anal stimulation whatsoever, right? I think every woman's going to draw their own line. And I think it's okay, because that's right. You're the one who's got to show up and be with that person, so you got to be comfortable.
Yeah, But then women also have to educate themselves about the male anatomy as well, and that thing that pressure point is actually in the anus. So to mess around and to play around in the area, to me, is not gay, but the penetration. That makes it gay.
Right. So we were talking about a lot of different sexual behaviors.
But this is my opinion. This is just me.
There's a lot of heterosexual men who enjoy a prostate massage while they're having sex or right before they reach gratification.
What is
right?
that?
So right before you reach sexual gratification or you ejaculate as a guy, there's a lot of heterosexual guys who say a prostate massage helps it feel better and helps it better for them, right? So you know exactly what that is, right? That is insertion and manual stimulation of the prostate, which is right inside and a little bit up, right behind the testicles, right? And those guys will say, no, hell no, I'm not gay. Yeah, but it just feels good, and that's what I like. That's how I get down. And so, right, it's one of those things. But this is why it's important to have these kind of conversations with the person you're with, and so you guys can define those boundaries and see what's in bounds or out of bounds for you, right? And then there's no wrong answer, right? But you're not shaming anybody because of the thing they've done. You say, hey, you know what? Love you to death. That probably is that's a bridge too far from me. I'm out, right? And then, but you at least had the conversation. You were honest about it.
Yeah. I'm pretty open to conversation.
Man, I'm just taking it all in, man. I'm trying to learn. I'm learning.
You got to be open. It's 2022. I think anything is up for discussion. You just got to know what's for you and what's not for you.
Right.
And
exactly.
Penetration, my man being penetrated, that's not for
you. That's not for you. Right. Yeah.
That's where I draw the line.
Esby.
Yes.
Are you tossing salad?
No.
You're not tossing salad.
I'm not tossing salad.
Okay.
No, not tossing salad.
Is that gay if a man wants his salad tossed?
I don't think so.
Okay. So just that anything short of penetration is okay with you?
Yeah. Almost. I don't want to say anything. Because that could be a lot of stuff. But penetration for me is where I draw the line. And knowingly sleeping with someone that is of the same sex is where I draw the line. And like I said, in 2022 with the surgery and this and that, these men look better than women. A lot of them. Like you could get caught out there. So I'm never gonna like shame a guy or try to make a guy feel bad or whatever because he got caught out there, because it does happen. And some of them are not honest and forthcoming about being born a male or being born a female, so you just don't know. And so I wouldn't shame a guy for not knowing, but knowing, I wouldn't shame him. I just would be like, hey,
Right. That doesn't work. Right. Go live your life. That part doesn't work for me. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So if that same man, SB, if that same man had told you, because he was up front with you, he said it happened, but if he had said he knowingly did it, could you have continued with him?
No.
You could not.
No, because to me now you don't care if you're sleeping with a man or a woman. It's just about, I like the way you look. I'm attracted to the way you look right now. Okay, come on, let's go. It doesn't really matter if it's a man or a woman. So yeah.
Did you ask him what it
maybe,
was about that person he was attracted to?
I didn't.
Right. So
I just assumed that in his mind she looked like an attractive woman.
Right. So that would have been a very important question to help define that. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So now go back.
I should have asked that question.
Go back and ask that nigga that question.
I wish I could.
You know what? I would love to ask, if I'm allowed to ask the young lady a question. We were talking about earlier how we don't do a good job as men, black men in particular, defining what it actually means to be a man. I would love to get your definition as a woman. What is that? What's your definition of manhood? What does that mean? It's a hard question, I know.
What is a man to me?
Right. What does it mean to be a man?
A protector, a provider. That's a hard question.
Right?
It is.
It's a hard question. So I think we need to get better, right? But if I asked you what it meant to be a woman, you would say what?
Well, but it's a lot of things that make you a woman, other than body parts, femininity, being soft-spoken, being nurturing, being caring, being loving, being affectionate.
Right.
A lot of things that
she
make
rattled
a
off 7 things immediately, and that wasn't even half of it. But when it came to a dude, she had 2 things: a provider, a protector. Shit, I got none else. So, right? So, right? Because we fit these dudes in a box, and so that's what I'm saying. That's what makes the conversation like this hard, because guys, we just got to do a better job of defining what it means to be a man, right? We just do, and we can't be so constricting. Women, it's a fluid, broad situation for women, and we understand that. We accept that. We allow them the grace of their humanity, and things change over time. But for us, it's this, and anything outside of that makes you somehow less than, right?
But I think it's also about what's acceptable to society, because there was a time where being lesbian wasn't so accepted. There was a time where being a lesbian wasn't as accepted as it is now. I think that guys make it okay for women to be in female girl on girl relationships, because they don't tend to care as much, or they don't consider it cheating if a girl is with another female. So I think it does depend on the perspective of men, because if men took girl on girl action as serious as they took a girl with another guy type situation, then it wouldn't be acceptable. But the fact is, it's acceptable because guys want to see 2 women together. They want to indulge and have their cake and eat it too. But if you were with a dude who is like, I don't care, I want you all to myself, and I don't care if you cheat with a man or a woman, cheating is cheating, then that defines those guidelines for him in that situation. So I think all of us have to be do a better job at defining what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, what makes you gay. And to me, if you have sex with women, I don't care if you do it once a month or once a year, you got lesbian tendencies. You might not do it frequently, but that's gay. As gay as it is if a man did it once. You know what I'm saying? If a man had a gay experience once, it's the same thing. I don't think it's different.
Good job, SB.
Look at SB. Look at SB in here spitting facts.
right?
Good job,
Yeah.
SB.
Right?
Always bringing it. Good
Now,
job.
all
Fantastic.
remember, 2 chicks,
Now can we
threesome,
please briefly,
2 dicks. What?
can we briefly touch on how you guys started this conversation?
Sydney was on
With
last week. If you hadn't hung up, you would have seen that.
no, I'm not talking about last week. I'm talking about the
Make,
girl throwing her man stuff out
make
because he
it
didn't
quick.
want to adopt the children.
Make it
It was on
quick,
the internet.
SB.
It was
Okay,
on the internet.
so really quick. If you have children and you are single, those children have a father. If you get into if those children don't have a father because he's deceased, in jail for life, etc., etc., upon dating, it should be a conversation that you have with a man in the beginning that you are looking for a father/father figure for your children. And that needs to be a conversation as much as, do you want to get married and do you want more children? If you're looking for a father figure for your children, then you need to have that conversation. Do you want kids? Do you want to get married? And if we are together, would you consider adopting my children? If that's not a
Hold on.
conversation that you have in the beginning, you can't get mad because you laid up with this dude for a year, 2 years.
Were you in the conversation when we were discussing this?
I was listening, yeah. I was listening.
Okay.
in.
So I want to get your take on that.
Yeah.
So go ahead, SB. I'm sorry.
You can't now say, oh, I've been sleeping with you 5 years. I want you to adopt my children. And if he's not with it, now, everything is up in smoke and you're throwing his shit out and so on and so forth. If was that as important to you, a man accepting your children or adopting your children was as important to you as it seems to be, then I feel like that should have been a conversation that they had when they started getting serious.
Got you.
Mhm.
That's all.
What's your thoughts?
I think the divorce rate is 50% for a reason. And if we think of all the married couples, all 4 of us know, we know that half of them are absolutely miserable, right? Don't know why they're there, can't identify why they're in this relationship. They're just kind of there, right? It's comfortable and I know how to get through these weeks, not getting my needs and my wants met, but I'm just kind of here. And whatever excuses we have, well, we can't afford to separate right now. Well, whatever the excuse is. So the answer is why? Why are we so willing to show up and be unhappy in our relationships, right? In general, Black folks in particular. And I think it's because we just have all these unmet expectations, right? And so if you're a woman with children and your expectation is that the man who's going to love me is going to realize that I'm a package deal and is going to also take care of me and my children, that's the expectation, right? That's your expectation. His expectation may be entirely different. His expectation may be, I am dating you, I love you, I don't know your kids or their baby daddy, and I have no interest in them, right? That may be his expectation. So one of the things I'm doing for 2023 is I'm replacing my expectations with requirements, right? Now here's my requirement, right? Because if you're a woman with children and you are dating and what you require is a man who's going to accept you and your children and take you all as a package deal and take care of everybody, now that's something I don't have to wait till date 3 to talk about. I don't have to beat around the bush as we're chatting and texting and sexing and all this kind of stuff, because that's a requirement, right? I'm reading the ingredients. I'm reading the instructions. Oh no, this is not what I need at all. And now I can move on to somebody who's going to meet my requirements. I don't have to get emotional about it. I don't have to get mad about it. It's not an expectation, and you didn't disappoint me and hurt my feelings when it showed up, and I was good to you and you didn't do this and you didn't do it. None of that's got to happen, because my requirement was, this is what it was. And I stated that requirement and you agreed. And so if it doesn't happen now, well, now I just got to be out, right? And so replace the expectation with the requirement. Ladies, there is nothing, absolutely nothing you're going to tell a dude on that first date that you require. If he is your dude and he's into you and he's there for all of it, ain't nothing you're going to say that's going to scare that boy away. Nothing whatsoever. He's going to be like, cool. Matter of fact, he's going to be disappointed if you don't set your requirements out, because he's like, oh, she's just playing. I thought she was here for the real thing, right? Because the guy who's ready for you and everything that you're bringing, he wants to show you why he's different from all the knuckleheads you've been dating, right? And he's wanting you to set a requirement so he can step up, he can meet the bar and show you, I'm the only dude out here for you, right? So replace the expectation with a requirement and have that conversation first, right up front. You don't have to wait, and you don't have to waste your time and your attention and your frustration and talk your girlfriend's ears off every Friday night about why this dude ain't doing what you want him to do.
SB, you're gonna use that shit. Everybody in this fucking chat right now, I'm looking at the comments, and everybody like expectations.
Thank you, look. Thank you, Dr. Ish. Don't be surprised if I be in your DM with some questions, Dr. Ish. I got questions.
Bring it. That's what I'm here for. I'm head of
Esby, let somebody else in, man.
That makes sense, right?
All right, SB.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays, Esby.
Happy holidays.
Good old SB. There's mad people trying to get in tonight.
Of
I'm
course.
gonna take a dude.
Dr. Ish.
Yep.
And this nigga name is Toxic. I'm gonna take a dude because I want to see where this heads, right? But if it goes left, then we disconnect.
Right. All right.
Yo, what's up? Hello.
Yeah. Hey,
What's up?
How
Mama?
you
We
doing?
can't see you. Yeah. What's
There he
up?
is.
Can you?
how you doing? My bad. How y'all doing today?
Doing good. How you doing?
Who are
I'm
you?
doing good.
Who are you, and where are you coming in from?
I'm from LA, Los Angeles, California.
And your name?
I'm born and raised in
is?
LA.
Your name?
Cameron.
Okay,
Cameron.
nice to meet you, Cameron. Nice to meet you.
Okay.
Well, I'm first timing. I feel a little kind of nervous. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Well, here's the story. Here's the thing. I met this girl in a dating website. It's like Plenty of Fish, and she looked good and everything and stuff. I didn't know. Anyway, long story short, and I met her we've been talking past few months, and I actually met her. I took her out to eat and stuff. And long story short, and I found out she's a transgender dude, a transgender woman, and she told me she's a transgender woman. At first, I did got mad a little bit, but at the same time, I'm being respected. You know what I'm saying? Because I have friends that is gay. I have friends that transgender. I have friends that lesbian stuff. I'm still okay with it because I'll still be a bigger person. And so I'm still have a conversation, take her out to eat, and 5 minutes later, she asked me to have sex with her. And I told her, no, I just really met you. And I'm just really, and then she got a little drunk and tipsy and stuff, and she trying to have me to have sex with her. And I told her I'm not with that.
Okay. Where are we going?
And she got mad that I told her I don't want to have sex with her. She got upset with that. And I didn't try to disrespect her, and I didn't try to fight her any kind of way, but I'm trying to still be respectful, you know what I'm saying?
Cameron, I guess my question is, did you not have sex with her because you're a man who wants to get to know the woman and it was too early for you? Or you didn't have sex with her because you found out she was a transgender woman?
Yeah. Say one more time. I apologize. I didn't hear you. Say one more time?
Did you not have sex with her because it was too early and you wanted to form a better relationship with her? Or did you not have sex with her because she's a transgender woman?
I'm trying to have build a better relationship with her, build a relationship.
So if she had waited to maybe date 3 or 4, you could see yourself having sex with this woman.
Yes.
Even though she's trans.
Yes. I don't have no problem with that. I don't have no problem with that because I'm being respected. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not that type of person that bash on transgenders like that. Because I'm not that type of person to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was raised better than that.
No,
Can I ask a
I
question,
don't care.
guys?
Huh?
that is wonderful. Go ahead, Dr. Ish.
Sean, can I ask a question? And Cameron, remind us, how long was it, had you known this person before they let you know they were transgender?
I've been knowing this person probably a couple months, let's say 3 months, like 3 months for sure. Actually, 2 or 3. I don't know for sure of the fact, but I've been knowing her for like 3 months.
And what was it about this person, this human, that you were attracted to? What'd you like about him?
Her personality, she's honest, and she let me know of the jump. And I with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm being cool, and I'm glad that she let me know ahead of time, because you know a lot of dudes that don't tell you the truth,
Right.
and a lot of transgenders don't tell you the jump. And I understand. I said I got you, and not just being respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not that type of person that bash on them and stuff like that. I'm not that type of person. I'm a real person, and I'm being genuine with her, and I still treat her as a woman, end of the day.
And to you, does it matter what kind of genitalia they have, whether they have what looks like a vagina or what looks like a penis? Would that matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me, end of the day.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. So it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, guys, right? It's like that folks hetero, and Cameron, do you consider, if I can ask you a personal question, do you consider yourself gay?
I'm preserved, I'll be honest with you, yeah.
You consider yourself gay or bisexual?
I'm preserved bisexual.
Bisexual, yeah. No.
And one thing before you go there, Dr. Ish, have you ever been with a gay man or a heterosexual woman before that encounter?
Most of the time I've been with women. Most of the time, my whole life.
Yeah.
When you say most, does that mean you've been with a man in the past?
No.
Okay. So you have never been with a man or a heterosexual woman?
No.
So what's the most?
Most, I'm be honest, I'm not gonna like the first time in that transgender, that's my first with her.
First experience? Yeah.
That's an experience. That's my first time. But most of the time most I've been with women, but she be my first transgender dating.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and at the end of the day, she just made my day. But I didn't have sex with her, but it's my first time in dating her. Yeah, that makes sense, right? I'm trying to make sense.
Hey, thank you for sharing that, Cameron. That's not easy to talk about, man. Appreciate that.
Rich, I see you the show all the time, and you my favorite song. You're my favorite artist, man. I appreciate that and stuff like that.
Cam, thank you very much.
Take the dish and put it in the sink. Do it now. It's on a fucking phone. Yeah.
Forget
You know,
Cam getting
you know
trouble.
what's so
In
interesting?
trouble, yeah.
Huh?
You know what's so interesting about this conversation is because he has never been with a man or a transgender woman, but he considers himself gay, or he considers himself bisexual. Okay, fair enough. But the fact that he's never ever took that step before, it's interesting that he would consider himself anything other than heterosexual.
It sounds like he just knows what he's attracted to, and it sounds like he's been attracted to both, even though, so it sounds like his orientation, right, his sexual attraction is to both, mostly female, but also sometimes folks with more masculine quality, but he's never had the behavior, right? But in his mind, and a lot of folks' mind, the behavior is irrelevant. It's like the thing I like is the thing I like, and that's how I identify.
Rich, let somebody else in, but before they come in, again, Cameron, I thank you, because that's not an easy conversation to have in front of a bunch of strangers. So shout out to Cameron. Thanks for sharing, man. I think that's dope.
Not at all. And guys, I got to jump off, man. I hate to have to go, man. I love this conversation. It's just, you know what I mean?
Yo,
it's super cool, man. You know.
All good. Ish, thank you for popping on, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, Sean. It's a pleasure, my man.
Likewise, brother. Thank you.
What I need to bring?
Don't bring. Just bring yourself, bro. Just come on.
All right, bet. Say less.
All right. See you.
All right.
Happy New
Happy
Year,
New
brother.
Year.
Shout to Dr. Ish. Y'all go follow Dr. Ish.
Dr. Ish Major at Dr_Ish_Major. That's my guy right there. Shout out to the captains. Shout out to the Nukes. Prez.
Oh boy, yeah, Rich. Real talk. Your shirt is dope too.
Thank you.
Just FYI. Yeah, that joint hard. That
Yes,
joint
sir.
hard.
Yes, sir.
I heard you call him brother. I ain't even want to acknowledge y'all. I'm like, I'm so sick of y'all, man.
Yo. All right, Latanya James. Latanya James.
Let's go woman man tonight. I love the Cameron jumped in.
Okay.
Who we
Latanya, what's
got here?
Oh my gosh.
What's up, mama?
Hey.
Where you coming
Yeah,
in from,
man.
girl?
And so one day pre-op or
Where are
post-op,
you coming in
Hold
from?
up, one more time. What'd you say, baby?
Okay.
from NYC. My name is Hazel, from New York City.
What's up, Harlem?
Harlem, New York. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Richie Rich? So I'm just like, I'm in a relationship where I just feel like I'm just second to everything. Like literally, like I feel like I'm second to everything. Like I feel like nothing I say or does matters. Like I feel like he doesn't care about anything. And it's just like I basically get like the aggression and the short end of the stick constantly, like with my mate. So it's like maybe it's that he just doesn't want to be with me, because if you're constantly outside, you know what I'm saying? Or you're always outside. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally had a surgery. I have a screw in my spine. Like
what was your surgery?
okay.
Dude
Dude ran a stop sign.
Got you.
Yeah. And you know, like I would figure like this would be the time that somebody would like, you know, not want to be hitting the road and, you know what I'm saying, hanging out with his fellas. But it doesn't, to me, it doesn't really matter. Like,
Okay.
like,
What do you have a question? A specific question for us?
Well, my question is, where do we go wrong? Like, where do we go wrong?
We can't tell you where you went wrong, beloved. We're not there to experience your relationship. I can tell you where you're going wrong.
Hold on, Rich. Do you, because that was a very ambiguous question. So before Rich takes it, do you have a more specific question for us, or do you just want him to go from there?
I do want him to just go from there, yeah.
For me, you're not acknowledging your worth. You're allowing somebody to do something. You just had a surgery. You're in need of somebody to be by your side. You're in need of somebody to be in your corner. You're in need of somebody to hold you down. And this nigga's outside. He's showing you he's showing you the importance of what you are to him. He's showing you how important you are to him. And you're allow yourself to be second or third or fourth or fifth or whatever the number you feel like you are that day. You're allowing yourself to be like that. Listen, I tell people all the time, I'd rather be by myself, fending for myself. At least I know where I stand. If I'm out here fending for myself and I got a back surgery or I'm fucked up and don't nobody want to help me out and don't nobody want to take care of me and I'm by myself, I can move like that. You moving or want to move like you got a man, and that sucks even worse than being alone, because I'm never gonna let myself down. You're being let down daily. And you can't allow a dude to let you down over and over again. There's the saying is the most popular saying in the world right now. When a nigga show you who they are, believe them. Believe them.
The first time.
The first time. And you, and don't cry, don't do that, don't cry, because this is for you to get strong, and you gotta put yourself first. Bottom line, you gotta put yourself first, and it might hurt you, but you know what? You ain't gonna hurt yourself. And if this nigga is hurting you day by day by day, don't allow it. Know your worth, queen. Know your worth. Come on, we from Harlem. Like, come on, nigga. Like, put your fucking big boy pants on. You know what I'm saying? Get this, like, fuck that nigga. If you don't know what he missing and he ain't gonna be present, then let the nigga go. Let the nigga step off. Get yourself together and the setback for the big comeback. You'll be all right. And when you outside and he see you outside, look at that nigga and look the other way. Remember me, nigga?
Okay, I got, Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Rich gave you his thoughts. I don't know if I agree with Rich because I don't have enough information. No, I'm gonna tell you because I don't have enough information, Rich. So I'm gonna ask you. So you said your name is Hazel. Okay, I'm gonna ask you some very specific question. I might agree with Rich, but I don't have enough information to know where I stand. How long have you been with this man? Okay.
Over a year.
So I'm not trying to be rude. Has this man ever claimed you? Because women, they say we've been together.
Yeah, he claimed me on this show.
Okay, fair enough.
Everybody else. And
okay, so y'all live together.
He live here.
Okay, is this where he gets his mail? Does he? If he was.
No.
Okay, if he was on this show right now with you, would he say, I live with Hazel?
Go ahead. Yeah, he just came in the door.
Okay, you want to bring him into the conversation? You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just.
No, he probably was drinking. But yeah. Oh, you checked the mail? That's mine? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know to you that is your man, but you said he claims you as his woman.
At this point I don't think like he did.
Him.
I don't know, but
not really.
Rich, you consider me your girlfriend? Do you consider me your girlfriend? You claim me as your girlfriend. I'm trying to figure this out.
Put Rich on. Let's talk to Rich.
He's not.
Rich, what up, my guy?
He's Rich.
Ain't shit. So we talking to Hazel, and Hazel said she just had an operation. She been in a car accident. Somebody ran the stop sign, knocked her, got a screw in her back, fucked her up, and you ain't been there for her. So she calling us, and she's saying like, yo, she's saying you ain't.
Oh,
been
I ain't been there. I'm gonna leave this alone. I'm gonna leave this alone. I haven't been there. The conversation shuts down right there. I haven't been
Rich.
there.
Okay,
I mean, he came to the hospital.
Hey, Rich, we not trying to put you on the spot, brother. We just trying.
Man, and this is what I gotta walk into. That's crazy. You're out of line. But you know what?
I'm out of line.
This is what
You smell like Jose right now.
Okay, did he ever answer the question, are y'all together?
He said yes.
No.
He said yes.
Is he saying that y'all are together or he answered the question?
Yeah. He said yes.
You're not? I'm confused. What I'm walking into.
Yeah, we are together.
So this what I say less. I see
You saying it? Or are we together or are we not? Because I'm confused.
Whatever you got going on, keep it going on. Whatever you got going on. Keep that going on. That's what excites you.
Okay, so
This is what
Rich,
excites me.
nobody's putting him on the spot, and we apologize, Rich, if it's coming off that way. I know you just walked into it. I would feel away too. But your lady just asked us a question, and we're just trying to get information before we give our thoughts. Is that fair enough?
But guess what? Get all the information you need. You good. That's crazy.
Okay, so my question is, what is like making somebody not come in like that.
Well,
like, that's my thing.
I mean, did I hear you correctly when you said he smelled like cocaine? What did you say he smelled like?
Whoa, no,
Oh, I thought
nobody said
that.
anything
Okay, so
like
what did
that.
you say he smelled?
I said
Who?
Jose.
Okay, what is that?
Jose. Whoa.
What is that?
Smell like
Jose.
Oh,
Jose.
Oh,
Cuervo. You smell like
okay.
tequila. You've been drinking.
Oh my. Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know
so
about them type
fair
of
enough.
things.
Like,
Cocaine.
I didn't. When you say Jose,
No
nobody
judgment, but
from this side, we don't know what that is. Okay, so I really love the way you started off this conversation, Hazel. You said I feel like I'm second. I think it's a lot of women out there who feel like they're second to everything else in their man's life. Yeah.
right. I do feel sick. Right.
He just said he considers you his girl. You said y'all live together. So with that being said, is there now a specific question that we can answer?
Well, he's saying that he's about to leave. So I don't.
But is there a specific question? I don't even know where to go with this.
How do I not be second to everybody else? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if somebody's in a dire situation where somebody is like physically hurt in the hospital, like, come home, you're still running the street. Like, that's crazy to me. You understand what I'm saying? I would never do that. Like, I don't understand that. Like, how? You understand what I'm saying? I would make sure you were
All right,
okay.
so does he contribute to the rent? Excuse me?
He don't have to.
Does he?
Not have
Not
to.
that he doesn't have to, does he?
Yes or no? Hazel, come on.
I don't know what
Kinda,
that
but
means.
not really.
What does that mean?
Kinda, but not really. Like,
Okay, does
no,
he contribute to
no.
any of the bills in the
Well,
house?
For the
Does he contribute to food, the lights, the food, the lights, any of that stuff?
It's
Okay, if you can't answer the question, then I got my answer. Okay,
I got that.
if you can't answer my question, I got your answer. The man is showing you where he stands with you. This ain't rocket science. It's not. That man got a place to live, is being paid for by you. The lights is on, it's food in the refrigerator, and he ain't paying for none of it. And when you was down, he showed you where you stood. I'm in the hospital, I'm getting surgery, and you running the streets. This ain't rocket science.
He's come to the hospital a couple of times. Like, he's come every day since I was in the hospital. But since I've been home,
how long have you been home?
out.
How long have you been home?
You get what I'm saying? Today's the first full day.
Okay, what about before you went to the hospital?
Nah, that's
Was you feeling second
like,
to everything? Okay, so
yes.
I don't think that this is rocket science. I don't. You know, maybe he is not into you as you are to him. You know, the fact that, because today's your first full day home, I'm not going to judge him on today. Let's judge him on everything prior to that, because we got more to go on. Maybe the man was out working today. I don't know. But if he don't come home prior to that.
But that's the excuse. That's the excuse. It's the whole I'm a super. So yeah.
I see, Prez, this is the more you dive in and more you ask questions, and I'm gonna go based on Richard's reaction. He was literally shocked that you did not feel that he was in your corner. When I said what I said to that man said, "Word?" That's how you feel? Really? This is what we doing? And he feels different. And this goes back to what Ish was saying earlier. I think y'all have different requirements.
See, and what's happening is he feels like I'm clout chasing and I want to be famous because I used to do music. This has nothing to do with music. I'm exactly. I'm trying to get assistance from another male and another male to see what am I doing wrong that is not allowing my relationship to, you know, be fruitful or, you know, grow or whatever. Because I don't know what to do. It doesn't cooking.
If Rich
whatever.
called in, I
don't
would
wanna
guarantee
say,
you that Rich felt like he was there for you. So I don't even want to throw that man under the bus. I don't even want to throw that man under the bus because if that man got on his phone and he actually made the phone call to us, that man would tell us he was different. And you just said, Hayes, you just did two things. Come on, Hazel. You just did two things. Sean said, how long were you in the hospital? You said, and did he come see you? You said that man came and saw you every day. And then you made it.
Yes, because he had to go downtown.
Okay, no matter if he had to go downtown or not, he stopped to see you. And then Sean said, how long have you been home? And you said, 1 day. So how you gonna hold that man liable for saying he gotta go to work on the day that you home? That's a feasible thing.
So so basically you feel like I'm expecting too much.
I don't know what you're expecting. I'm just saying that Sean has uncovered shit that I was on 100% Hazel at the top of this conversation. At the top of the conversation, I was on 100% Hazel. But after further review, when Rich came in and threw the red flag, I have to now go to the video camera. And you have said some things to me that would lead me to believe that y'all just ain't on the same page, and he might not be as bad as you say he is. The nigga came and seen you every day. You said you were second, but yet he's coming to see you every day. Then Sean said, how long you been home? You said 1/2 a day. This will be my first full day home. And the nigga is in the house right now at 9:30 before you pissed him off and he left back out. Or I pissed him off and he left back out. So, and you saying that, then you say that he ain't in the streets. You made it appear to us that he was in the streets. He was hanging out with the niggas on the block. That I'm a super, and I
right. That's exactly what's really going on. But that's getting used as an excuse.
I'm working. It's not outside.
It's getting used as an is getting used as an excuse.
How about this? How about this? We can go a different way. Do you feel like your needs as a woman are being met? Do you
as far as
feel like you have a man? Do you feel like you have a protector? Do you feel like you have a provider? Do you feel like you have someone who you can lean on? Do you feel like when the chips are down, my man is right there for me?
Some days, and some days I don't. It's like, it's a persona. So like, I don't know. Are you showing me you, or are you showing me, you know, what you want me to see? You get what I'm saying?
Okay, do you feel more days that you have a man or that you don't have a man? Do you feel more days that he's there for you or more days that he's not there for you?
I mean, he's here physically. I mean, before I had the surgery, he's in the house, but then when he goes out, you know, like
I don't know. Okay, because this is taking way longer and you're not answering questions specifically, so it's frustrating me. Because here's what I will say: we all know how we feel in our relationship. You didn't call me and Rich for no reason. So if you feel like my man is only my man in namesake, he's only my man, then I would tell you, you're probably right. You don't feel like this guy makes you a priority because you're not a priority. But because you keep flip-flopping, I don't know what to say. I truly don't. And I don't know if you are now just so in your feelings because he's not home today. I don't want to crucify him, and I don't want to give you bad. Hold on.
One day I understand.
And I
It's
don't
not
want to
just one
give you
thing.
bad
Sorry.
advice and you just in your feelings. So that's why I'm trying to uncover. Like I am very, very careful before I say anything. I try to ask as many questions as humanly possible, but you're just not helping me out. So I don't even know how to answer you, Hazel.
I just, you know what it is because of what's going on with the surgery. I just wish that he was here and more consoling and,
So you and your
like
would
that.
you have made this call
But
to us
instead
a
of,
week ago before your surgery? Hell,
not a week ago.
sir, you
Not a
just in
week.
your feelings, man. Tell that man you wish he would have been more consoling. Tell him he should have been there tonight. But that man was just caught off guard, and you owe him an apology. Like that, you got this man on public. I know his name is Rich. I know he's from Harlem. You got this man on a live looking like Joe Meatball, and it's about today. I'm thinking this is the way you felt for the better part of your relationship, and it's not fair to him. And but Rich, here's the lesson. That's why I always try to ask the questions before I jump out the window and be reactive, because you don't know. People get on this show and they be in their feelings, and they telling you one side of a story. If
Right. But then, like, so even like with my own, like with my child, like he was yelling and stuff like that. Like when he drinks with his Jose with the Cuervo, he's a whole nother person. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like that doesn't help. And it's like during a surgery, you're supposed to be consoled. You're not supposed to be,
Hazel. Sean will hit it on the nose.
yelled at.
You in your feelings right now. You in your feelings right now. Now, if it's the drinking is one thing, and then that's something that Rich got to address. We can't address that for him. But right now, you in your feelings. You in your feelings about today, and you not being consoled, and you ain't get the attention that you feel like you deserve on the outro. Like on the way home, you supposed to have got, but you can't hold that man liable and come on here and throw that man under the bus like he's not present, and you really are just talking about today. Clearly, the man we all just agreed that the man been seeing you all the while you was in the hospital, and now you making excuses for why he's seeing you. You can't do that. You can't be like, well, nigga, you was on your way downtown anyway. That's like me going to the grocery store, buying you something to eat, and you being like, well, nigga, you was in the grocery store anyway. You ain't do nothing for me. But yes, I did. I thought about you when I got you something.
Here's the real thing. Here's the real thing.
Okay.
And then Hazel, we're gonna have to tell you good night.
You go over there with that.
The real thing here, if you can't say in your heart that you would have called us with this same complaint a week ago, you and your feelings, girl, and you owe that man an apology. But that's just my thought. But I wish y'all the best, Hazel.
All right, Hazel. Shout out my
Y'all
guy,
have a good
Rich
night.
from
All
Harlem.
right.
Shout out to other Rich from Harlem. All right, yo.
All right.
So see, this is the thing, Sean. This is the problem with these conversations. And there's no way that we can ever combat it because it's impossible. But they're one-sided. And I guarantee you, if I wouldn't say 90, I would say 75% of the conversations we have with these women that come on and they do the complaint, if we got the guy on another chat at another day, it would be a completely different scenario. The niggas would say something completely different than what the woman said on Wednesday nights. If we had dudes on Thursdays and women's on Sunday, Thursday with the same relationship, same two people, Thursday would be a polar opposite conversation. He would be like, yo, I'm there for her. I went down to see her every day. She, you know what I'm saying? I work hard. I'm the super. I'm always on call. I'm trying to spin it. I'm stressed out. She got me drinking. It would be that.
That is 100% true, but that is why I'm never reactionary. That is for that reason. I mean, you a grown man, I'm a grown man. We've been in relationships, and we have had our own girls, our own wives, our own significant others, you know, you catch them in the moment. It's one thing. You catch them a week later and they back in love with you. So that's why I try to, instead of just being reactionary, and that's the real moral of this story. So let's let somebody else in. But shout out to Hazel. You know, I'm a little. If she wouldn't have made this call a week ago, I don't even know what we talking about.
A flawless diamond. A flawless diamond. Yeah, I think I'm getting sick. Okay, no flawless diamond. Chrissy, kiss my Chrissy. Kiss my Chrissy. Kiss my Chrissy.
We was doing so good.
Yep. Kamala, no, Laura Olivo. Laura Olivo. Laura Olivo. I don't know. Maybe I met my quota for the night. Is he coming in?
Nope.
I'm just going down the list now. Unable to join. Unable to join. Trail Maurice. Maurice Trail.
Okay, here we go, Rich. Here we go.
Yo, what's good?
Gentlemen, this has been a hell of a show. Oh my goodness. This has been a hell of a show. Y'all killing the game. Like a good amount of topics too. I've been enjoying it, so I gotta give just my hats off. I mean, tip the hat to y'all. For real. I mean, from the guy that didn't know, I didn't know. I was thinking to ask, was he born a male? Like respectfully, because of all of the things that he was saying. I was
You can say that.
But the bottom line with that was like, yo, people I think are gonna like what likes them. You feel what I'm saying? That makes sense.
It does make sense. It makes sense in a utopia, but I don't know that society has gotten to the point where people can like who likes them, because it's still a little bit tricky. You know what I'm saying? Just because if something like you and you find it attractive, it's still a little bit tricky. It ain't that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So that with the lady, when she brought in when the dude came, I ain't gonna front. I was actually concerned. I was like, bruh, I hope that he don't go upside the head like that. I don't promote any type of bullying, domestic violence. But once you said, yo, boy Tim, I was like, no.
You're right. You know what? In hindsight, 2020, I thought the same thing. Especially after I saw his reaction, I was like, yo, this nigga look like he's a little angry.
Yeah. And he was on that Jose. Come on, man. but hey, I hope that she all right. And then when what was I about to say? After you get off the phone, I hope she all right. When he said, I feel like she told on herself. Cause you said she always be on, so you trying to be famous, right? So I'm like, you told on yourself, you're on here, I think, they're trying to be famous type of deal. You know what I mean? Because you was all over the place at first. So it's like you told him yourself.
And that's why these conversations, I wish they were two-way. I wish we could get the dudes and to have the same conversation at the same time. And we be on our Dr. Ish shit for real, because then we could do some real therapy shit. Like, you know what I mean? But
Right. All right, so look at it. Everybody want to know my question. Y'all ain't on the screen, so why y'all worried about my question? Let me chop it up with my bros for 2 seconds. Goodness gracious. All right, but and then shout out to the nuke. That sweater's hard, bro. I'm gonna have to nuke you if I see it lying around. Bro, I'm gonna have to nuke that one. Word. Yo, so here we go. question for you gents, right? This came up today. I was having a conversation with a young lady earlier, and then I had a similar conversation with a young man earlier, and it came up together about, you know, if you're in a situation, let's say you into a young lady or a significant other, right? At what point do you feel in the dating process, or you confirm it, y'all exclusive, do you start the introductions to your friends, to your children if you have them, to your parents if they're still around? Like, is it when you're still dating but you know you're exclusive with them, when y'all are committed, like y'all boyfriend girlfriend, or an engagement? You know what I mean? And does age factor in? I know that's a lot, but I just wanted to get y'all take on it.
Rich, we had this conversation, and Trell, what up? First and foremost, it's always a pleasure when you jump in. You know, Richie and I had this conversation before, and I think it's a dope question because here we are, we're around the holidays. There's a bunch of get-togethers. There are women who are in relationships or and they're gonna be around their family, and they want that dude with them, you know, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, yo, my family is having a get together. I want you to come. Here's my stance. It's real, yo, Rich. What'd you do? Put the cap of 10 on yourself? Like, what the heck is this about, son? Yo,
I told you I got this new light.
No.
I'm in Miami, nigga. I bought this new light today at Walmart,
no,
and this motherfucker is popping.
he got the red light special going on. All right.
That's hard. And that's hard. You gotta have the lights. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It creates a vibe.
All right. So here's my thought on the matter. I'm not bringing nobody around my family, and this is Sean. And I told you this before, Rich, but me and you are different. I'm not bringing nobody around my personal family until I know you gonna be around. I damn near gotta know you the one. So you said in terms of being quote unquote exclusive. What does that mean? Is that yo, we've been dating for 6 weeks and we exclusive, so now I can bring you around my family? Or time has passed, we got a year into this thing, and I know that there's some stability there, and I feel comfortable bringing you around. Okay. For Sean, call it exclusive, call it whatever you want. I don't play with that. I don't just bring random chicks into my personal sphere, if you will. I don't bring them into my circle unless if you meet my mother, if you meet the family, if you come to a gathering, I just told you something. That means you are But it's a lot of men out there who don't give a crap. We see them niggas, your uncle, your cousin come and Ma, this is such and such, and the minute such and such leaves, that boy, every time I turn around, he got another one. She ain't gonna be around for the next one, ha ha ha, and she's the joke. Because so you know, to me, ladies, I would be very, very cautious. I wouldn't put too much stock into a nigga bringing you to meet his family. Real talk, I would. And I would also be very cautious before I bring a man, even if we are quote unquote exclusive. I'd be very cautious before I take that step to introduce him to, unless you know we got something, we done been through something. Because truth of the matter is that meeting the family thing don't hold the same value for every dude. And that's just as real as I could put it. There's some dudes out there like me that, yo, we could be together forever and you ain't meeting my mother. And if you do meet her, we ain't breaking up because I just brought you into the circle of trust. But there's, you know, I got brothers. Yeah. And some of them niggas don't give a crap. They like, yo, like everybody know she this month's girl. And here's the crazy thing, I'll pass it to you, Rich. Them chicks actually be getting happy that they came around the family, not realizing that you are one of many. This is a revolving door. I know this meant something to you, but it damn sure ain't mean nothing to this nigga. But that's just my thought. That's you, Rich.
And here's my thought. Oftentimes, dudes use that, as you just said, to put you on the pedestal. The woman feels like she's on the pedestal.
Right.
Dudes know that. Dudes know that. So they like, yo, what's the best way for me to make her feel good? Let me introduce her to the family. You could tell by a dude's personality what's important. You may not want to. You may want to go with the, oh, he introduced me to his mom's, and that's a big deal. But in your heart of hearts, you know how that feeling. You know what that feeling is. You know that feeling of importance. Now, if you just want to be delusional and create a self-worth that doesn't exist because you want to feel good about this nigga and all the shit you did for him, and now you feel good because he introduced you to his people. But you know when you come to the barbecue and mom's is like, yo, what's up, man? How you? On to the next. That means that you ain't special.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When mom sits down with you
special.
and she's like, how are you? How are you? You. This nigga never brings nobody around. You must be it. Now, that's the feeling that you want. And if you got a dude, and you can just tell by personality. The nigga wasn't free with bringing me home. The nigga ain't free with bringing me out. The nigga, he's kind of secretive, or he's kind of to himself. You know what I'm saying? He's a loner, and he don't really move like that. You could tell a person like that, as opposed to the willy-nilly Sean's brother and them that just be like, yo, I met Shorty. You coming to the barbecue? Yeah. Where you met her at when I was buying this liquor? Nigga, did you really just tell me you brought Shorty home because you just met her at the liquor store?
He was hungry.
What you mean?
Brought her through.
5 minutes ago. True story. 5 minutes ago at the liquor store when I was buying this 40 ounce, I met her and I brought her home. That's not special. And that's whack. Because women really be feeling, they be gassy. They be feeling they on that level.
They be
when
gassy.
in reality, that she's just trying to make you feel good. And this shit means absolutely nothing to him. Beware of that dude. Beware of that dude.
Yo, but
that's the
Rick,
worst dude in the world. That's the worst dude in the world that will use his family to increase your value when really he don't think shit of you. Because as soon as he get what he wants from you, you're going to be heartbroken because you're going to absolutely think it was something that it was never for him. It was never that for him. You was a pawn. His family is pawns. You was a pawn. He just ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something, Rich. You just touched on something that's so real and so dope. And I think women who've been dating somebody for a month, they need to really hear this, because women always think that means something to a nigga, and it don't. It don't. They think if you bring her to the family function, you are somehow declaring that she's the one or doing. Yo, but if nobody at if nobody at the barbecue, if nobody at the event, if niggas are not genuinely interested in knowing your name and knowing you, it's probably because they have met 10 other yous in the last year.
10 other yous.
Because in their head, I don't even have time to get to know this person because she ain't gonna be around next week. So read the signs is the only thing I'm saying. You know if you go somewhere and people are genuinely trying to make you feel warm and welcome and they want to know a little bit about you, it's probably because we don't see this too often. But if niggas is like, oh, how you doing? The chicken is over there. Just get away from me type vibe. It's probably because you ain't gonna be around.
Right. Yep. Hey, I wholeheartedly agree. And if y'all really on that type of time, it's the conversation. Like, I would encourage ladies, have a conversation. Like, yo, what was the last time you brought a woman home? Now you can gauge. And if he's honest and he be like, oh well, if he makes it like it's not a big deal, then that's an indicator that like, yo, it's a dime a dozen. And then everything, that's the only thing I would add on to what y'all said.
One, people don't want to ask the questions because they don't want the answers. People don't want to ask. Me and Sean say this every week. People don't ask the hard questions because they don't want the wrong answer. And if you're not a lawyer, and I'm not on the stand, so you're not going to ask me a question and you already know the answer. You're going to get the truth. Two,
come on now.
It fucks with your worth. It fucks with who you are if this nigga tells you something that you don't want to hear. Now you got to reflect on this whole relationship when this nigga's like, you thought you were special because you went to Thanksgiving, and this nigga's like, girl, I am 28 and I've been bringing the last 10 years since I turned 18, a different chick came to Thanksgiving and Christmas. It makes you feel fly by that.
Yeah.
Now you reassessing your whole shit.
Yeah.
You want to hear the crazy thing, Rich? Because the opposite is true too, and I'm a living testament to this. Like, I'm so guarded with what's going on in my life. I don't want you meeting. Like, I'm not bringing you in my circle. Forget mom. Mom is the last stop. But I damn near not introducing you to friends. Like when we together, I ain't like nigga. But it's because even if I'm into you, I'm still gauging and I'm collecting data and all of that stuff. So just as we're like, yo, don't be happy if a nigga bring you around too quick. Don't write a nigga off so quick if he is hesitant or he takes his time, or if he is somebody who's a little more calculative on how he moves, because he's still assessing, are you the one? Are we good? Are you worth meeting my people? So it goes kind of both ways, which is crazy.
Sean, I'm gonna keep.
Indeed. Nah, that's big. Cause that's
where we from.
Good.
Where we from.
Yeah.
You better be absolutely who you bring around. And I'm gonna hit you with something, and I'm gonna let you go, Trev. Where we from, don't bring your girl around me.
Exactly.
Yo,
you better have that thing tight.
Niggas
exactly.
That's
exactly.
You only allow one. You know the rule. You only allow one, bro.
Yeah.
And that in the music industry, with acting and everything, people social climbing, these women in social climbing, she using you to get to Sean Prez, so Sean Prez can take it to Puff, and Puff could take it to Barack, or whatever the case may be. This is
exactly.
There's levels to this shit. There's levels to
Yo, we don't have to have this conversation in detail, because this is such a dope conversation, right? This is that like inside the mind of a man conversation right here.
And
real talk.
Get offended. Women get offended, like, you don't want to bring me to the studio. You'll never come to the studio with me with open Jose and all the rest of this shit.
For real. Top of the place.
Girl, bye.
And they can't be offended by that, because in my opinion, that means you really value them, right? Like, I don't want to bring, because I value this. You know, if you want to go back to the beginning stages, you don't want other people playing your things. You want to cherish.
In her mind, you trying her.
Indeed.
Up until she walk away with another nigga, you trying her. Like, what type of bitch you think I am, nigga? Kind of you corny ass nigga. What type of motherfucking female you think I am that I'm finna go to the studio and slide this producer nigga my number, and 2 weeks later I'm gonna hear about I'm gonna happen to bump into the studio
and that ain't even
see you in
the
the
case.
booth. Cause you told me you told me you had to pick little man up from school, but you in the booth. And this is the thing about dudes.
For real.
Dudes have nothing makes a dude happy than to tell another dude, yo, shorty, or she ain't about that. Or you like her, my nigga? Or you like her? Oh, nah, my nigga. That ain't the one, bro. My motto is, I don't care what you do. Don't ever make a woman feel like she came between us. So no matter how I feel, no matter what you feel, don't ever let anybody feel like they could break the bond, because that's how women walk away. That's how women walk away.
Come on, man. That's real for relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like even as a man, I'll flip. Even as a man, don't ever let another man think that he got a chance. That's the respect you got to give me. So you got to tread lightly on how you communicate.
Nothing more than to tap you on your hip and be like, oh, by the way, my nigga, shorty, she ain't about that life. She slid me her number, or she sent me a picture.
Right.
Yo, where this picture from?
Yeah. And on the low, they probably want what you got.
It's a wicked world, man. It's a wicked world. But yo,
it is.
Trell.
It is.
Always
Appreciate it.
a pleasure, my guy. See you next week.
Shout out to the dude. You know what I mean?
Of course.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
Happy New Year. See you next week, Trev.
Happy New Year, bye.
All right, bro.
Yeah. So, yo, Sean, let's do the closeout, bro. It's 9:51. I know it's a little bit early, but I'm on 10%, and I definitely don't want to lose this.
All right, fair enough. For everybody, again, this was our last show of the year. Thank you so much for spending this last Wednesday with us. If you're new to the show, Rich Dollars, Sean Prez, we are the Boys Club. It is very, very real, unfiltered, intelligent, mature conversation about relationships coming from men. And if you are in a relationship or you're looking to be in a relationship and you just want to understand how men think, why they think the way they think, we tackle all types of topics week over week. So please stick with us. We look forward to seeing y'all next week in the new year. And lastly, this episode will be up on all streaming platforms, including YouTube tomorrow. So y'all can get it there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's the official Boys Club. Just type in Sean Prez, Rich Dollars. Love y'all. See y'all in 2023. Rich, you got the last word.
It's been a pleasure. We love y'all. We rock out next week. Same time, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, in the new year. Everybody be safe, be happy, enjoy your time with friends and family, and we'll see y'all in 23. Sean, I'll hit you up shortly.
My man. Come on.